While China has not officially proposed the creation of an organization to replace the World Trade Organization, it has certainly not been sitting idly by. The country has undertaken several significant initiatives and formed strategic alliances that actually serve as alternatives or complements to the current global trading system. One of the most notable initiatives is the Belt and Road Initiative launched in 2013. The aim of the BPI is to expand global trade by developing infrastructure and increasing connectivity between Asia, Europe, and Africa. China also played a key role in the establishment of the Comprehensive Regional Economic Partnership, CREP, a free trade agreement that includes 15 countries in the Asia-Pacific region. This is another step towards deepening regional economic cooperation. In the financial sector, China has developed a cross-border interbank payment system, CIPS, to facilitate international RMB transactions. This is China's first attempt to establish a cross-border interbank payment system. The system reduces dependence on the US-dominated SWIFT network and promotes the internationalization of the RMB, with more than 1,280 financial institutions from 103 countries participating. China is also an active member of BRICS, a multilateral forum that promotes cooperation among major emerging economies. BRICS has established the New Development Bank and the Contingent Foreign Exchange Reserve Pool to finance infrastructure and provide financial support, offering alternatives to the World Bank and IMF. These efforts demonstrate China's strategy to reshape global trade and economic relations, positioning itself as a central player and potentially reducing the dominance of Western institutions such as the WTO. While not a formal replacement, these initiatives reflect China's desire to create a more China-centric global trade network. In this video, we explore China's motivations and the controversy it has faced at the World Trade Organization, WTO. We will also look at China's strategic moves to create an alternative framework that could potentially reduce the impact of the WTO. After joining the WTO in 2001, China was initially involved in relatively few disputes compared to other major economies. Between 2002 and 2006, China was a third party in many disputes, allowing it to gain experience and a better understanding of the dispute settlement system. During this period, China was directly involved in only 5 disputes, significantly fewer than countries such as India and Russia. In 2002, China found itself involved in its first major WTO dispute over US-imposed steel tariffs. The administration of President George W. Bush Jr. imposed tariffs ranging from 8% to 30% on various steel imports to protect the struggling US steel industry from a perceived glut of imports, causing severe damage. The US imposed these steel tariffs despite criticism from major steel exporters including the European Union, Japan, South Korea, and China. These countries argued that the tariffs violated WTO rules. A coalition of 8 steel exporting countries, including China, filed a complaint with the WTO. In November 2003, the WTO appellate body upheld the ruling that the US tariffs violated WTO agreements, mainly the Agreement on Safeguard Measures and the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. The WTO ruled that the US had failed to sufficiently demonstrate that increased imports were causing or threatened to cause serious injury to its domestic industry. Following this ruling, the WTO authorized the affected countries to impose retaliatory measures against the US. The EU planned to impose retaliatory duties of up to $2.2 billion on US goods, targeting politically sensitive products such as orange juice, textiles, and motorcycles. China, as part of the coalition, has also been authorized to impose countermeasures, although the specific economic impact on China is less documented compared to the EU. The US administration, facing the threat of widespread retaliation, slapped tariffs in December 2003, just 1 month after the WTO ruling. The case set a precedent for China and other WTO members to use the dispute settlement mechanism to challenge unfair trade practices, demonstrating China's active participation and strategic use of international trade rules to protect its economic interests. Since then, China has strategically used the WTO dispute settlement mechanism to challenge trade barriers imposed by other countries, demonstrating its commitment to protecting its economic interests on the world stage. Despite losing some cases, China has also achieved significant victories through this process. One example is a 2019 case in which the WTO authorized China to impose duties on $3.6 billion worth of U.S. goods. This decision was related to a dispute over anti-dumping duties. China challenged the fairness of these duties, arguing that they were contrary to WTO rules and unfairly targeted Chinese exports. This case demonstrated China's skillful use of the WTO legal framework to seek redress and protect its trade interests. By participating in the dispute settlement process, China was able to challenge the U.S. measures and ultimately obtain a favorable ruling. The WTO's sanction of China's retaliatory duties underscored the effectiveness of the dispute settlement mechanism in resolving trade differences and enforcing international trade agreements. This victory was significant for China not only because of the immediate economic benefits, but also because it strengthened China's position as a weighty player in the global trading system. One of the most notable efforts is the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, launched in 2013. The aim of the BPI is to expand global trade by building infrastructure and increasing connectivity between Asia, Europe, and Africa. Through this initiative, China is establishing a network. By continuing to build this network of trade routes, China is facilitating easier and more efficient trade with more than 65 countries, collectively representing a significant share of the world's population and GDP. The initiative is also helping China secure access to raw materials, new markets, and absorb overcapacity. China also played a key role in the formation of the Comprehensive Regional Economic Partnership, CREP, a free trade agreement involving 15 countries in the Asia-Pacific region. The RCEP is the largest trading bloc in the world, covering about 30% of the global economy. The agreement lowers tariffs and establishes common rules for trade in the region, offering an alternative structure that excludes the U.S., which previously favored the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, but withdrew under the Trump administration. In the financial sector, China has developed a cross-border interbank payment system, CIPS, to facilitate international transactions in Chinese yuan. This system is designed to reduce reliance on the US-dominated SWIFT system and the US dollar. By facilitating the internationalization of the RMB, CIPS is part of China's broader strategy to reshape the global financial landscape and reduce vulnerability to US sanctions. China is also actively pursuing bilateral and regional free trade agreements, especially with resource-rich countries. These agreements provide stable supplies for Chinese companies and strengthen China's trade relations beyond the traditional Western dollar framework. This strategy is consistent with China's goal of creating a center-spin trade model, with China at the center and developing countries on the periphery. Taken together, these efforts represent China's strategy to reconfigure global trade and economic relations. By creating these alternative systems and alliances, China is positioning itself as a central player in global trade, potentially reducing the dominance of Western institutions such as the WTO. The success of these initiatives could lead to a significant reshaping of global supply chains, with more countries targeting China as their primary trading partner. In closing, I would like to thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to our channel. It will help its development very much. We wish you a good day and look forward to seeing you in the next episodes. Take care.